Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam. Thanks for hanging out with me again today. And on today's video, well, the kind folks over at Banggood have sent over another kit to review, and this one is a little bit larger than the last one we looked at. So what they've sent over is this little 12 scale buggy. This is the JIUSI. That's the name I'm going with. I've heard it pronounced JIUSI, but I haven't heard it pronounced any other way. So we're going with JIUSI RC, their WB12 Pro buggy kit. So it's a 12 scale 4-wheel drive buggy. There's a few others out there that are similar, and what I'm going to do is we're going to go through what's in the box, and then I'll show you some up close of the buggy, and then we're going to take it out for a run. The buggy, it's 12 scale. It's not quite 10 scale size, but it's getting pretty close. It comes in the box without the wing on there. You do have to attach the wing, and you do have to put the wing decals on. And as far as decals, you have a full decal sheet of a bunch of different stuff you can put on there. I literally just put the WB12 Pro on the roof. It's a beautiful paint job. They did an excellent job designing and silk screening this body on there. It's got a lot of cool little scribbles and scratches in it. The red on the sides, and then it's like a purple that fades into a light blue. The only thing with the body is when the body came out, the clear protective covering was off of it. The front up here still had the clear on there, so it just looked odd. It was just like a muted looking blue. Peel that off and it looks just like the rest of the body. So just a tip there. The wing decals are a little tricky because the wing does this and it's got a whole bunch of little things in there. Just take your time. It's really fairly forgivable. They are easy to peel back up a little bit and get back down to where you need it. So don't fret about that. They go on really well. The body, it's kind of that cab forward modern style, which, I understand you're packing a lot of stuff into this and, you got to put it somewhere. So the middle, about the best you can put it for, weight balance. It does have plastic roof skids. It has a huge front shock guard and shock cap protector, which is really nice. I like seeing that installed right away. One flip flying down the pavement, and you flip this over, you're grinding down the top of your shocks, you're grinding down the top of your shock towers, makes a mess of it. The rears don't have it because you have the big wing back here. That's going to take the brunt of it. But your front shock tower and those front shock screws and the top, their shocks, they get ground up really bad, really quickly. And it also, is going to take a little bit of that impact, so it's not going to bend over an ear of your shock. It's just going to kind of grind and, keep with it. It does have aluminum oil-filled shocks on there. It has front and rear sway bars. Has CVDs up front. Has dog bones in the rear. Metal everything. It has metal out drives on transmission, metal drive shafts, metal axles on the ends, CVDs up front, metal out drives up front. Inside, you get one battery is installed, one battery is in the box. You have a separate receiver ESC. Thank you so much. The reason is, sometimes the range of these isn't that great. Sometimes the ESCs really aren't that great. This allows you to upgrade either one of those if either are an issue. And for me, I like having most of my RCs on the same controller. So I can, if I want to, I can take this receiver out, put one of my own in, and then it's bound to my regular everyday radio, and I don't have to keep track of this one. Then it has the brushless motor in there and a small 3-wire servo, which actually is pretty good. We'll go over the car a little bit more in just a second, but let me keep showing you what's in the box. So the radio, this is a Dumbo RC radio system in here. So it has a 6-channel Dumbo RC radio receiver and the Dumbo radio. I kind of really like this radio. Haven't used it yet, so I can't say what the range is and all that stuff on there, but it is a comfy full-size radio. It stands up on its own, has a super nice, soft, grippy steering wheel cover on there. Thank you. So it has this really nice cover here that protects the dials and switches from being pressed or rotated while you're driving or, just handling the radio. You close it. Most of them, you have to open that little thing and press the power button and close the little window. This one, the power button is right there. So they have a cutout in the window for the power button. And super nice. Why hasn't anybody else done that? This does have 6-channel receiver. This is a 4-channel radio, so you have a channel 3 and a channel 4 up here. Turn things on and off. This one, you're just basically using channel 1, channel 2, and I don't really see. You could put lights on there and turn them on and off if you wanted to, but for this kit. The 6-channel receiver is a bit overkill, but it is really nice that you have extra channels. So if you need to if you want to put a motor fan on, you have an extra channel to plug in and run your motor fan. You know, if you want to put lights on there, you have extra channels to where you can put those on and you can turn them on and off through the radio. So nice little additions. You get a actual charger. Now, I haven't used this. I'm actually using my X2 Pro over here, which just charged up one of the other batteries. But you have a 20-watt compact charger. It does 2-cell and 3-cell, and it does come with a overseas non-US plug. It does come with the adapter in case you do require it. You get a little bag of tools, so you get a cross wrench, you get a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5 hex wrenches, extra body pins, and a couple extra zip ties in case you have to take something out, move something around. Overall, initial look, it's a really nice looking buggy. I mean, like I said, the looks of the body are phenomenal. The only thing I would change about the body is the roof skids. They basically just abruptly stop the roof skid and it sticks out ahead of the cab. The problem with that is when this thing rolls over and goes into the grass, those things are going to start acting like grass catchers, and it's just going to rip chunks of grass and stuff underneath there, wedge up underneath, potentially grab it hard enough to rip this out of the body. So, we'll run it as is. If I notice it's a problem, we'll probably come in and trim those off and kind of, cut them a little bit and then angle them back so they're not, little bulldozers when it flips over. That's the only thing I've seen so far that was, why did you do that? Everything else is really, really nice. One thing I like is they have the battery plug mounted to the chassis, so you don't have wires flapping and clacking around, banging against the fan, stuff like that. Everything stays nice and tucked and tidy. Comes with a heatsink on the motor, 2845 brushless motor. Like I said, you have your separate receiver compartment here. That was your 6-channel receiver. Now, when you get it, the antenna wire was literally sticking up like maybe 3/4 of an inch. I went ahead and pulled mine out and used a spare antenna tube. I did not get an antenna tube in the box, did not see one, so most of us probably have, at least a half of one laying around. That's all you need, is about a half of a regular antenna tube. Stick it down in there, and what I did is I just run it between the two body posts back here and just barely poke through the shock tower. That keeps it so the body goes back on nice and tidy, and you get a little bit better reception than, having 3/4 of an inch of antenna sticking out. The steering link here is fixed. It is a plastic steering arm. It goes into plastic steering bits, but the steering up front is very tight. I don't see any problems with it. You have droop screws on all 4 corners, so if you do want to go out and run on the road or try this in a speed run, run to 100 speed run that's going on all year, this would be a great platform to play with. You can use those droop screws to really suck the chassis down to the track, or if you just want to run on like your carpet track and you don't want a lot of elevation that's causing a lot of body roll, you can suck that body down a little bit further. And if you're running on carpet track, these are required, so it's nice that they're on there already. Like I said, the shocks are aluminum adjustable, so you have collars on the top, threaded shock bodies to adjust them. It's set up really nice out of the box. It has a big aluminum center brace going from the center diff, or the slipper clutch area, up to kind of the front steering brace area. So that's going to keep that nice, really pretty aluminum chassis from getting all bananaed. Beefy differential housings, metal gear diffs, everything in here. Sounds good, rolls good, feels good. Diffs feel stiff, but not like stiff where they locked it up with like gooey grease or anything. It's stiff to where you can tell that there's some diff fluid in there. I'm not going to crack them open. I'm not going to look at them. But I'm just going to run it as is. The tires are nice and soft. Pre-glued, of course. All the screws are nicely countersunk in there, so there's no screws that are like jutting out underneath of the thing. So you can put a full chassis skin on here and not have a bunch of lumps and bumps and stuff in it. I'm going to run it with the body pins in here, but I think if you just put a strip of Velcro on the sides, you could get away with just running Velcro on this one and not have any issues. I'm going to put the body clips back in it and run it that way. But before we take it out, let me just turn this guy on. I was waiting for the radio to beep, but the radio doesn't beep. Servo's nice and quick. And even on the mat where it's super high traction, you know, you got sticky brand new tires on top of a neoprene mat, you know, it's still swinging those tires back and forth, no problem. Fan's nice and quiet, but it's, you know, blowing well. And it seems like it's going to be pretty spicy. So when I got the battery out of the box, I put it onto the voltage tester. Each cell in here, all three cells were like 3.83, 3.84, I think 3.85. So they were all right there together. So these came balanced and charged at a proper storage charge right out the box. All right, so that's what you get for the car, with the car, all that stuff. Let's take it out on the track and run it around. Now, forgive the track. It is a mess. It may not look like it from a distance, but up close, it is disgusting. It's got ruts, bumps, rocks, clumps of stuff. I did get out there and get all the weeds and stuff that were growing on it off, but it's just a mess. So it's going to toss this little guy around a little bit, but I think with the suspension being as kind of plush and soft as it is, it seems like it reacts. It should react fairly well. We'll have to see. But I don't think we're going to be lacking in power. I think with 3S, this thing is going to go Bananaramas out there and fly. So I will see you guys out there. That's just 75%. That thing is just an animal. Alright, kick it up to 100. It's just spinning all four all the time. Ah, tumble wumble. Oh! Wow! Woo! We're at the end of the back. So just got in the motor guard. You can put your finger on it and leave it on there for about that long and it gets hot. So the motor did get hot, but we were trouncing it around in tall grass you know, that high grip moss and out on the track non-stop for the full pack. ESC isn't, but you know, outdoor temperature. Fan kept that nice and cool.